We are back yet again with another Rocket League video. Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to be covering how to use the ceiling to aid you during solo plays, which is a really useful thing to do to help you keep possession of the ball and play it around defenders. And it also opens up some other options for mechanical plays. Alright guys, so since we will mostly be doing mechanics this lesson, we want to make sure that our warm-up reflects that and gets us prepared for what we're about to learn. Instead of doing that via free play, we're going to be utilizing what I like to call a jack of all trades training pack, meaning that it has a big number of really different looking shots that will force you to use multiple different mechanics. Go ahead and warm up in this pack for 5 to 10 minutes. One thing that a lot of players don't realize is that much like the walls of the pitch, you can also utilize the ceiling to your advantage through multiple mechanics. The first obvious one includes ceiling shots, which entails jumping or falling off of the ceiling and then making contact with the ball in some way to put a shot on net. The next less obvious thing that a lot of players don't understand is that there's an even more powerful use for the ceiling, and that's using it to play the ball back to yourself to keep possession. This is on the trickier side because it takes precise timing and quality touches, but once learned, you can become an unstoppable force with the ball. Now that we've talked over some of the different uses for the ceiling, I'm going to have everyone practice some ceiling related mechanics in two parts. For the first part, we're going to be in free play, and this might be a refresher for some of you. You'll notice that if you fall off of the ceiling, you will have your flip untimed, with the downside being getting to the ball potentially slower. On the other hand, you'll notice that much like jumping off of the ground, if you jump off of the ceiling, you can make it to the ball faster, but you only have approximately 1.5 seconds to use your second jump. To familiarize ourselves with the ceiling, practice jumping off of the ceiling and then using your flip within that time frame, and also practice falling off and experimenting with your second jump for around 5 minutes. For the next part, we will be inside of a training pack that will help us put to use both methods of coming off of the ceiling. This training pack will contain different types of ceiling shots that will force you to use one method or the other. Do this pack for around 5 to 10 minutes, but for more if you feel like you need the practice. Alright guys, now we're going to take a look at a replay example of the ceiling being utilized from one of my ranked games. So I'm going to let the play just kind of play out first and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so you can see that Kairos here actually doesn't make contact with the ball, but the setup was good enough to where I still wanted to talk about it. So the first thing that we notice is there's no players on the backboard, there's no players in the air, coming off the ceiling, pre-jumping. So immediately we can tell that Kairos has the space to pull off this mechanic, so we know we have the space to execute. That's step one. Step two is the first touch, and you can see his first touch is really good because it doesn't shoot downwards. It kind of floats out and gives him time to come off the ceiling and read it. So these are the first touches that you really want to look for. First touches that don't shoot down really fast or bounce off the ceiling or anything. You kind of want it to float. And you can see he doesn't make contact, but if you pay attention to what he does off the ceiling here, he actually jumps off the ceiling to get to the ball faster because he's kind of bouncing like outward off of the wall. So that's a good illustration on when you would want to jump off the wall instead of kind of fall off the wall, because if he fell off the wall right here, he might have gotten beat to the ball by one of the defenders. So there was a little bit more urgency for him to use this mechanic. Alright, by now you have all seen a few different ways in which we can utilize the ceiling to our advantage, with that not being just shots. So now I'm going to have you go ahead and apply this to ranked. For this session, spend 30 to 45 minutes in a game mode of your choice and either try to attempt one ceiling shot per game, pass the ball to yourself off the ceiling or hit it off the ceiling to play it around the defender, or come off of the ceiling to challenge the ball twice per game. Alright everyone, that's going to do it for this lesson. I hope everyone can now use the ceiling a little bit more in their games and hopefully gain more of an advantage in ranked. Leave a comment below if this video helped you out, and I'll see y'all in the next one.